A very good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you all are doing well. And also, welcome to week 9 of this semester. I hope that you had a wonderful mid-semester break. You're feeling refreshed, feeling rejuvenated after the break, and you're ready for the challenges that will be laid up to you the next 5 to 7 weeks. Okay, so now just before we actually move on with our lecture notes, now your mid-semester marks, they have been already released up on Moodle. So how do you go around checking your mid-semester marks? Is simply you have to go and click on grades. So once you click on grades, you would be able to see your marks for all the lecture-based quizzes, your marks for your mid-semester exams, and your critic writing as well. Now, critic writing, the marks are not up on Moodle. Sorry, not critic writing, but your assessment one on realism, your project one. The marks have not been released yet. It will be out by next week, Monday morning. So by Monday or before Monday, probably, you should be able to see your marks up on Moodle. Okay, so that's how you go around checking your marks. So feel free to go and check your mid-semester marks. Go around reviewing your mid-semester exam. How do you review it? Go to my assessments, click on mid-semester exam, and then you can go and review your attempt, see where you have gone wrong, where you have done correctly. If you've been given partial marks, see which all questions are there. Now for partial marks, I have also put down some sort of comment as to why you have received partial marks. So just in case, if you feel that there are any places where you deserve more marks, you feel to do so, you're most welcome to drop me an email. You can always drop me a message via Moodle. Moreover, just a reminder, I have taken a lot of time to mark your mid-semester exam. So there would be not, I think hardly there would be cases whereby you would feel that I have marked you incorrectly, but I'm also a human being. I can go around making mistakes. So please do go over them, review your attempts, any questions, any queries, feel free to drop me an email or drop me a message in Moodle, and I would be most happy to have a look at them. Now, this is week 9. So in this week's class, we have our lecture notes. Also, your lecture-based quiz is available on the week 9 section of the Moodle shell. For lab classes tomorrow, okay, for lab classes are actually from week 9 till week 10, our labs were basically supposed to be on Adobe Soundboot. However, we've been looking out for some softwares, web-based softwares, whereby you can freely go and use Adobe Soundboot, just like we had for Photoshop. Till now, we are not able to find any open source based applications. So if that would be a case, we'll come to a solution, and I will advise you by tomorrow what will the likely outcome be for Adobe Soundboot. Just in case worst comes to worst scenario, if you're not able to find something on Adobe Soundboot, we'll continue with web design and development. First of all, we'll begin with HTML, followed by CSS, and then we'll combine the elements together and form up a static website by week 12 or week 13 of this semester. Now, so without much delay, can we open up lecture 7? And from there, we'll go around discussing lecture 7. I hope that you all are able to see your screens. Okay, so that's lecture 7. And in today's lecture, we will be looking at video. Now, video plays a very important role in our day-to-day lives, especially in terms of multimedia. Now, since the first silent movie flickered in our lives, like when we say silent film, whereby previously we had films, okay, whereby right at the very early stages, whereby there were hardly any sound in them. Now, what are those movies with sound? That would be quite odd, right? Now, what it simply means is that you have combined pictures and then you made a video out of them. So what the video was actually doing was only moving the images from one state to the other. Okay, so that's why we call them as silent movies. Now, okay, so since the first silent movie flickered to our lives, people have been fascinated with motion pictures. Motion pictures. Now, motion picture here is not the same as the production company in US. There's a production company called Motion Pictures Incorporations. Now, that's different. Motion picture here means pictures which are moving. Okay. Now, to this day, motion video is an element of multimedia that can draw a lot of crowd attention and also build up a lot of interest, especially in terms of learning. Digital video is the most engaging of the multimedia venues, and it is a powerful tool for bringing computer users closer to the real world. Therefore, when we introduce video in multimedia projects, it attracts a lot of attention. It attracts a lot of audiences. And henceforth, what happens is if you're using it for a business environment, most of the time your businesses are successful in portraying or giving out the information that it wants to the use of videos in multimedia. Now, moving on. Okay, now overview. Now in this lecture, we'll be looking at how we can go around using digital video, how videos they actually work, digital video containers. We'll be also looking at obtaining video clips, and we'll be looking at some of the elements that needs to be taken into consideration when we are shooting and editing videos for the use in multimedia. So these are our learning objectives for this week's lecture. Now, using video. Video is an excellent tool for delivering multimedia, and I've just mentioned why. Because it attracts a lot of attention, it attracts audiences, and also it's when if your video is fascinating, you are compelled and you're bound to keep on watching it, and it actually passes on to the message. Now, that's what happens in majority of the films. What you'll notice is that they have a specific message, so the message is portrayed to the use of actors, props, and so forth. So it's an excellent tool for delivering multimedia. Video places the highest performance demands on a computer and its memory and its storage. Digital video has replaced analog as the method of choice for making and delivering video for multimedia. Now, second point, okay, when you're making videos, you need a high performance computer system. You need much more greater memory compared to when you're taking simple photographs, and you need more storage space. Now, memory and storage space, they're quite related to one another, okay? And also it deals with when you have good memory, good storage space, your computer's performance automatically strives through. How video works. Now, light reflected from an object through the camera's lens is converted into an electronic signal by a charge-coupled device. This electronic signal contains 3 channels of color information and synchronization pulses that we call it as sync. Several video standards exist that deal with the amount of separation between components of the signal. Now, in simple terms, if I have to explain this, when light is reflected from an object, it passes through a video camera's lens. That light is converted into an electronic signal by a sensor called a charge-coupled device, which is also called a CCD. Top quality broadcast cameras and even camcorders, portable video recorders or video cameras, may have many as 3 CCDs. Okay, now the 3 CCDs are for different colors. So one of it is for color red, the other one is for color green, and the other one is for color blue, RGB colors. Okay, and the reason being why it has multiple CCDs is to enhance the resolution of the camera and the quality of the image. So that's how videos generally work. Now, how videos generally works continued, and we'll be looking at analog video transfer methods. Now, component video separates color and brightness over 3 cables. As video separates color and brightness over 2 wires. Composite video transmits the whole video signal in a single cable. Now, component S video composite. Now you must have seen this in your TVs. If you play around with the video settings of a television, okay, you would be able to see those things. Okay, now let's go into much more further detail of what these are. Now in an analog system, the output of the CCD is processed by the camera into 3 channels of color information, okay, and synchronization pulses, which you call it as sync, and the signals are recorded onto magnetic tape. There are 3 video standards for managing analog CCD output, and the 3 standards are already listed up on the slide. So the first one that we have is component, okay? Now, with the component, this is how it works. If each channel of color information is transmitted as a separate signal on its conductor, the video signal output is called a component, okay? That means they travel separately, the colors. The red color travels separately, the green travels separately in cables, and the blue separately. Now, what happens is that composite generally is of a bit higher quality compared to S video. Now, S video, what happens is basically it works the very same as how composite video works, but of a little lower quality. Why? Because you'll notice is that if you notice component videos, it runs over 3 cables. And if you look at S video, it travels over 2 wires or 2 cables, okay? And the least of the quality is composite. Now, you must be able to guess it why. Why least? Because the same video signals and the colors, they travel in one single cable. So what happens is that just because it travels in one single cable, all of it at a time, so the quality is depreciated or the quality goes down overall. And also what you'll notice is that the way or the quickness of how video is displayed is quite lower compared to S video and component video. Now, just to remind you, these things are, you can treat them as supplementary stuffs. I will not be testing you all of these in your short quizzes or so forth, but just know this for the sake of knowledge learning, okay? Next up is how videos work. And we're looking at analog video. Now, analog video is recorded onto magnetic tapes. Now, magnetic tapes, have you seen magnetic tapes? Magnetic tapes are something that we have in our hard drives, okay? Video frames are interlaced. So video frame is like a single picture. For example, if you are watching a video and if you pause a video, that's one frame at a time, okay? As you play, it moves from one stage to the other. So each of it is called a frame. Now, in analog video, all these video frames are interlaced. Interlaced meaning they are weaved together or they're combined together. So that is what analog video, basically the components of analog videos are. Next up is your analog display standards. All right. Now, the National Television Standards Committee, NTSC, have you seen NTSC somewhere in your televisions? Probably if you're at home, switch on the TV, go to the settings sections of the TV in your television, and you have these standards in your televisions already, okay? So these standards define a method for encoding information into an electronic signal that creates a television picture. It has a screen resolution of 525 horizontal scan lines and a scan rate of 30 frames per second. Okay, so what it simply means in this case is this. 30 frames per second, that means the video under the NTSC standard is able to navigate through 30 frames within every 60 seconds. That means a frame takes about 2 milliseconds in this case. Okay, now the United States Canada, Mexico, Japan, and many other countries use a system for broadcasting and displaying video that is based on the specification that was initially set in the year 1952 by the NTSC. Okay, this is the standard that was used in those years, 1952, and even the standard exists till date. Okay, now these standards define a method for encoding information into the electronic signal that ultimately created a television picture. Okay, now what the standard generally does, okay, now for example, we have some common standards that you must be knowing: ISO, International Standard Organization. Okay, so these standards are the industry accepted standards all throughout ISO. Or if you're dealing with something with manufacturing, if you're dealing something with terms of electronic, and if you're also dealing with something in terms of computer, in terms of hardware, in terms of software, in terms of building items and so forth, ISO is a leading standard in the world. Okay, so likewise, NTSC standard came in and they started putting in some form of credibility to the videos that needs to be produced by televisions and the hardware devices. So if a hardware has to be sold at this specific price and so forth, therefore it needs to go to that standard, and if that standard is approved, okay, so it becomes a credible particular piece of hardware, in this case televisions. Now, analog display standard. Now, analog display standard, we have the next one called as PAL, phase alternate line. So the PAL standard is very much similar to the NTC standard, but something more enhanced in it. Okay, the phase alternate line PAL system was initially used in countries like the United Kingdom, Western Europe, Australia, South Africa, China, and South America. Okay, so what PAL did compared to NTSC, it increased the screen resolution of 125 horizontal lines, but the scan rate reduced. Now, if you have a good look at the resolution rate of NTSC is 525 and the frame rate is 30. Whereas if you look at PAL, it increased to 625 horizontal lines, but the scan rate reduced. Okay, so overall the NTSC standard, okay, it was deemed as a bit lower compared to the PAL standard, and these standards still exist till date. Now, the next one that we have is sequential color and memory, CCAM. CCAM has a screen resolution of 625 lines and is a 50 Hz system. CCAM differs from NTC and PAL color systems in its basic technology and broadcast method. Okay, so again, another standard came in, CCAM. Okay, so what I would suggest is just know the standards. Okay, you have NTSC, PAL, CCAM, that these are the standards in which the videos were generated in those many years and still existing till date. Now, all those were based on analog videos, and then came in something called as digital video. Okay, now we live in a digital world, so there's a reason being why we live in a digital world. And with everything evolving from analogous to digital, okay, so the video went around moving into a digital mode as well. The output is digitized by the camera into a sequence of single frames. The video and the audio data are compressed before being written to a tape or digitally stored. Now that's the difference. With the digital video, the major difference is the size of the video. Okay, why the size? Because if you look at the second point, it says the video and the audio data are compressed. Compressed means they are reduced in terms of storage space. So where your analog video would be of 1 hour, probably, I'm just giving an example, probably the size of that particular video may be about 1 GB. Whereas if you're looking at a digital audio, where the video would also be a 1 hour, the size may be about 500 MB, probably half or even less than half. Okay, so that's the major difference that came in between digital and audio video, digital and analog video. Now, I could also talk about single frames and the difference between the two, but just let's stick to the size. Okay, it will make it easy for you to remember. Okay, digital video. Okay, multiple HD TV formats exists. Resolution and frame rates vary. Aspect ratio of HDTV is 16:9. Okay, now what this is, when started as HDTV, HD means high definition TV. The initiative was basically done by the Federal Communications Commission in the 1980s. Okay, so since then the HDTV started coming in. HD means high definition. With high definition, the picture quality and the audio and the video quality is better compared to what you had in the analog videos. Okay, and as the years moved on, the resolution plus the frame rate also increased. And the one of the most common use aspect ratio of high definition TV is 16:9. Okay, we still use 16:9. Okay, if you have your TVs at home, again, if you play around with the settings, till this day, we still use 16:9 aspect ratio for high definition TVs. By the way, your LCD, LED, LCD, liquid crystal display, what is LED? Anyone knows what is LED?
Light emitted diode.
Right, emitted diodes. Okay, thank you. Light emitted diodes. Okay, so with your LCD and LED, okay, we are using high definition television. Okay, now if you look at the picture that is given in that slide, look at the overscan of NTC television, NTSC television, and PAL is not stated over there. Okay, look at HDTV. So if you carefully look at it, the size is bigger with better quality. Now, better quality cannot be portrayed in that image. It can only be portrayed in terms of you viewing it. So if you want to really see, if you just in case come across a cathode ray tube CRT based TV, what is a CRT TV? You know, the ones that we used to have in the traditional days, large bulky TVs. At the back you would have a tube, like now we normally with the CRT TVs you have a vacuum tube. Okay, this tube at the back will actually throw in the light. So those are the old televisions. So the new ones, they do not have it. Okay, so just because of that, the throwing of light basically created the videos, created the light in a CRT televisions. In the new ones, in LCD and LED, you don't have something as such. So overall, the power consumption is going to be low with LCD and LED televisions, and that was the main reason why we swapped the technology the other round. Now, CRT and LCD display. The interlacing and progressive scan technologies, most computer video output is greater than 1024 by 768. Okay, so this is your common trend. Even if you're using a laptop and computer at the moment, you would be using 1024 by 768. Now, what happens in this particular output is that it is neither too big, it is neither too small. If we go into non-technical terms, this is the easiest way I can explain it to you. Otherwise, if you go into technical terms, we'll start talking about frame sets, we'll start talking about the scan rates, the horizontal and the vertical lines. Let's just omit that and talk something in simple terms, whereby when you have this particular output 1024 by 768, what happens, your videos or your images on the screen, it's neither too big nor it's too small. Now there's a big difference. If you have, let's say, about 900 by 600 output, what happens is that you might not see some of the portions of the screen. Okay, example, you're viewing a page, if you're viewing Facebook's website, and if you are on an output 900 by 600, you will not be able to see it see the entire of Facebook's website. Now 1024, basically what it does, it automatically adjusts the size of the screen and displays the 100% size of the initial website or the initial video that you're about to view. Now, overscan and save title area. Every analog TV displays differently. Editing systems use action save and title save overlays. Okay, don't worry about those. Now, digital video architecture consists of a format for encoding and playing back video files by a computer. Includes a player that can recognize and play files created for that format. Okay, now what happens is that with the digital video architecture, okay, what it does, it basically combines different formats that could be played for a video. Now, at the moment, we are quite used to a format called MP4. Okay, MP4 is the most upcurrent format of videos. If you're viewing, there's another format, .wave. If you are viewing videos, okay, or if you have downloaded movies of the web, either it's going to be .wave format or .mp4. Now, the difference between the two in terms of .mp4 and .wave is most likely the file size. Okay, MP4s, basically they are quite smaller in file size compared to .wave. Moreover, the quality standard is even better in MP4 despite the reduced file size. Also notice that with .wave and .mp4, okay, another major difference is that MP4 is more likely to be compatible in almost all types of video players. Whereas if you're using .wave format, .wav wave format, okay, what happens is that some video players may not go around playing those types of videos. There's another video format that we call it as .fla. Okay, now .fla format still exists till date, and a lot of videos are created in .fla formats. Now, the only type of video players that could play .fla video formats is either a VLC player, okay, because VLC is able to play on almost all types of formats, or a FLA player itself. So remember, whenever you're creating videos, try to keep it in a format whereby it can be played in almost any type of video player. Now, codecs. Codec is the algorithm used to compress a video for delivery. Decodes the compressed video in real time for fast playback. Streaming audio and video starts playing as soon as enough data has transferred to the user's computer to sustain this playback. Now, in simple terms, if you look at what codec does, is this. Okay, so codec is just a algorithm. An algorithm is a set of mathematical calculations. Okay, and what it does, it compresses a video for delivery. When we say for delivery in terms of playing it. Okay, and then it decodes it into real time for fast playback. Now, different codecs are optimized for different methods of delivery. For example, you have a different codec to be delivered into a hard drive. You have a different type of codec format that could be used for CD, for DVD, or even over the web. Our code is continued. Okay, MPEG is a real-time video compress algorithm. MPEG4 includes numerous multimedia capabilities and is a preferred standard. Browser support varies. By the way, if you look at the word MPEG, it stands for Moving Picture Experts Group. And what it does, okay, now basically this is also a standard that was developed by the International Organization of Standards, ISO. And we also have another commission called International Electrotechnical Commission. Okay, so these are the ones looking at the current standards. And what MPEG evolved was from, you had first of all MPEG1, which was released in 1992, and then you had MPEG2, which was released in 1994, and then you have MPEG4, which was released in 1998, and somewhere between 1998 to 1999. Now, MPEG4 is same as saying MP4, okay? Is very much the same. Now, if you notice, there's also something called as MPEG3. which we call it as MP3. Now with MP3, it does not cater for videos. It only caters for audios. Therefore, there's no mention of MP3 somewhere within this slide. Why? Because MP3 is a standard that is used for audios only. Okay, and MP4 is the one that we have been just talking about. Okay, and it is very much used and exists since 1999. Okay, now another thing about MP4 is when MP4 came in, it built up a new meaning to technology. Why? Because MP4 allowed videos to be offered as a link. That means the video that you want to see, it could be easily linked to a web page. It could allow you browsing of those videos over the web. Okay, previously we couldn't. That's why YouTube came in somewhere about late 1990s to 2000. Okay, and then it allowed quick uploading and downloading of those videos. Why? Because with MP4, the size of the files also decreased, therefore taking up more storage space. Okay, nowadays our size of videos have they increased or decreased? Let's get you talking. Okay, what do you think? The file has sizes increased or decreased? Answers could vary. Now, anyone? Yes, Izal, go for it. Okay, now, uh, now what I feel is currently the size of our videos have increased. Why? Because the devices that we are generally using to take the videos and even the photos, okay, uh the they are more advanced devices, and they basically have more pixels to the cameras. Okay, likewise to the video cams. So just because of that, the video output that comes through, it comes of a very high quality. And just because it's of a very high quality, the size of your video files will increase. That's one. The second reason why I think the size of videos are quite bigger compared to what it were is because the amount of editing and the amount of effects that we are able to add to our videos. Okay, previously it was very difficult to manipulate videos. Now we can manipulate our videos in a lot of different ways. You can insert text, you can insert effects. Okay, you can blend in different videos of different formats together and make it work and create a video of your own. So just because of that, the entire size of videos have increased drastically. Now, next up, video format converters. Okay, so video format converters, basically this is very simple to understand, are those software applications that converts your video from one format to the other. Okay, produce more than one version of a video to ensure that video will play on all the devices and in all browsers necessary for project's distribution. Now if you look at .wav format, mostly .wav format is accepted in Windows, whereas in Apple computers is .org or GG. Okay, now if you want to have it compatible, whereby the org format would not play in Windows. Now if you want to make it work in both the platforms, choose MP4, a better version. Okay, obtaining video clips, okay, new footage or stock, training projects. Now what we are going to talk about here is this. Okay, so let's say you've decided that your project should include a video. Consider whether you would like to shoot a new footage. Now footage is basically a term that is given for you trying to shoot something. Footage, a video, shootage, they mean the same thing. Okay, so you've decided to come a project and you've decided that you will actually go and insert a video or footage, and either you can shoot a footage or you can actually use a pre-existing content of a video clip somewhere from the web. So where do you obtain those videos? So one we have shared, we'll actually go and shoot a footage, or you can get the videos from the web. Nowadays we have a lot of sites which give videos for free, so you can do that. Also, when you are basically when you are taking out videos, do check the licensing of the videos and do look at the copyright disclaimers on it, just in case if you're using a video or let's say a video is up on web, you've downloaded, it can only be used for viewing but cannot be used for remaking or re-editing. Okay, so if you do that, you may face a lot of issues later onwards. So whenever you're creating a video, okay, and if you're intending to take your videos off the internet, do go and have a look at these things. Okay, another thing is like you have a lot of websites that sell videos. Now with that, when they sell videos, you take the video and then you can use it. Okay, but you'll have to pay a price for it. How much is the price? It varies. Sometimes it's about 10 USD, sometimes it's 10 USD is close to about $20-25 Fijian. Sometimes it's $100 USD, about 200 plus, 250 plus Fijian. So what the video is about, how to use it, it totally depends on you and the licensing agreement that is given with it. Shooting platform. So when you are shooting a video, okay, how do you get your platform prepared? A steady shooting platform should always be used. When we say steady shooting platform, it's just like when you're shooting a video, your camera should be moving. Okay, if it moves, your video won't tend to come out very easily. And I'm sure all of you are used to it because we live in a world of technology where you'll go around taking pictures. Now, when I was a student, and if I had gone through a unit like this talking about shooting platforms, so in my time, if somebody would say, take a steady shooting platform, I wouldn't understand it to what you are understanding at the moment because the technology wasn't so advanced back then. Okay, we did have smartphones when I was in university, but 1 megapixel, not 1 megapixel is too much. It was too much for 1 megapixel, close to about 0.1, 0.2 megapixels. That was the type of smartphones that we had when I was in university. Nowadays, you have 864, you have 128 megapixels of camera, okay, in a smartphone. Use an external microphone. Okay, why you should use an external microphone? So that your voice is audible. That means people are actually able to understand what you're saying, and at the same time the recording comes in very properly. Know the features of your camera and the software. Okay, it's very important for you to know a lot of features. Now if you look at some of the latest phones, if you own a Samsung S series, or if you own a iPhone 11 Pro or Pro Max or 12 or 13 is also coming out really soon. So if you own these kind of mobile devices, smartphones, there's a lot of features in them. Okay, so how do you use them? It depends how well you know the features. Not just the main top range phones, even if you have ranges like A70, A50, the 51, 71, 91, those versions, they also have a lot of features in them. Okay, so know the features well, and then you'll see that your work becomes very easy. Okay, decide on the aspect ratio upfront. Aspect ratio, now we've been talking about the aspect ratio 16:9, and that is generally what you are going to use on, so have it as such. Else keep it to a universal aspect ratio. Now what is a universal aspect ratio? That is something you need to find out where you want your videos to be played on. If you're shooting a video up for YouTube, so you'll need to go and have an aspect ratio as to what YouTube accepts as universal level. Now, storyboarding, successful video production requires planning. Now, storyboarding is very much similar to you are trying to get something pre-planned. If I would give you an example of storyboarding, the most quick and easy example that I could think of is that if you still read newspapers, I hope you still do. If you aren't, then you must have in one point in time or the other. If you read newspapers, right, in our local newspapers, probably in Fiji Sun, even in Fiji Times as well, towards the back end, you'll see a section where it has cartoons and animations. That is example of storyboarding. So when you do storyboarding, it's just like whatever things you are going to shoot, whatever things you are going to take pictures of, you get it done on a storyboard. Now, this is how generally a lot of movies are done. Now, also, if you go and look at some of the makings of movies, they try to get things done in form of a cartoon first, and then convert it into a actual film. Why is that necessary? What happens is that it gives them a prototype, it gives them a sort of model, that this is how things are going to be done, and at the same time they're able to rectify what things will require a lot of effort and how they can go around improve the processes. So just in case if you are also intending to make videos for multimedia, try to get a storyboard done. Not necessarily you have to draw cartoons. What you can do is with the storyboard for each and every frame, you will decide what to do and what to shoot at. Okay, so this is a Light Lab. Light Lab is a photo editing software. Actually, it was a photo editing software. I don't think Light Lab exists anymore. Okay, so instead of Light Lab, the software that I can think of is Adobe Premium. Adobe Premium allows you to edit software, and there's so many different softwares on the web in which you can go around editing videos. So with lighting, okay, what you need to ensure is when you're taking photographs, you need to have adequate lighting. And I think you know why. If there's no proper lighting, what happens is your video becomes very, very dull. Probably if I'm making a video in a semi-dark area, probably it wouldn't throw in the skin tones of the people within the video very properly. It wouldn't show or wouldn't beautify the entire environment. Okay, so proper lighting is very important. Now you'll notice is that if you go out let's say out in a wedding or out in a function, many people where they do video shooting, they carry floodlights with them, which is quite good because that builds up good lighting. If you don't carry your floodlight, your video is going to be quite dull, right? Yeah. Now chroma keys, blue screens or chroma key editing is used to superimpose subjects over different backgrounds. Now, if I have to explain you chroma keys, if you get time, probably go and have a look at some of the makings of superhero movies. It's just like the actor is inside a building. At the background, you'll see something all covered in green. Okay, previously they used to have a blue screen, now they have a green screen. Okay, so all covered in green, so it's just him. Okay, he's doing his action and fighting and all those forth. And then once post-production comes out, you'll see him standing in an island and he's fighting with something. So that's an example of chroma keys, okay, whereby you have a green or a blue screen at the background. Okay, and then later onwards in the post-production process, you can go around and edit that into something that you desire. Just imagine you have a actor who is jumping off a very, very huge mountain. He's not actually jumping off a mountain, is he? No, he isn't. If he's jumping off a mountain, he needs to have a lot of cables attached to him. Okay. Now, most of the time, the actor is even not up on the mountain. Or let's say an actor is fighting with a dinosaur. There are hardly any dinosaurs. How come he's able to fight with a dinosaur? Okay, those comes up in the editing process. So while somebody is doing that, okay, there is chroma keys used. The special term that they call it in terms of movies is not coming to my mind at the moment. Okay, it's called something. Okay, the editing process is called something. As soon as I remember it, I'll let you know. Okay. Now, composition. Consider the delivery medium when composing shots. Composing means when you're combining your shots. Use close-up and medium shots when possible. Close-up, try to be as close as to the object that you want to shoot. Medium shots is whereby you are at a medium range. Okay, close, that means you are very up close. So if you're shooting a video of a glass of water, so your camera is just nearly touching the glass. Let's make it like this. If you're doing a medium shoot, so your camera may be about few centimeters away. Okay, and if you're doing a standard shoot, it will be very far away. Okay, like a eyesight level. Now move the subject, not the lens. Okay, many times you'll notice that when you have to take photographs, you're moving the camera. Should be the other way around. You have to move the object and not the lens. Why? Because if you have picked up a very good lighting, if you have picked up a well-stationed spot where it's not moving, there's no movements, okay, Don't shift your camera, shift the object. Beware of backlighting. We talked about it. Adjust the white balance. Okay, adjusting the white balance, what is that? Sometimes when you take photographs, you'll see that there's a white shiny light coming through. That's white balance. So you need to adjust it properly. Titles and text, use plain sans serif fonts that are easy to read. Choose colors wisely, provide ample space, leave titles on screen so long that they can be read. Keep it simple. Now this is for the post-editing process, whereby you use some form of text in your videos. Now where do you use them? Basically in the titles or at the very end. Okay, there's a new trend now, is that you have previously when you would watch movies, the name of the actors and the name of the movie would come right at the very beginning. Now it comes at the very end. Okay, so this is normally Hollywood style. They came in first with it, and then Bollywood followed, and the other movies, I don't know what this Bollywood as well, they followed. But yeah, so when you're using it, provide ample space, choose the colors properly. Normally when you see these text coming in, so the background is normally dark in color, black, and the text is white. If it's white, so use a contrasting color. And also the other thing that I normally tend to face issues when we have text in movies is that I'm not able to read them on time. Okay, it moves just way too fast. So if you are creating a video, especially for business or in terms of multimedia, you need to ensure they are there on the screen so that people can read them within the space that you're giving, within the time that you're giving. I can read them and understand them. The non-linear editing is high-end software, has a steep learning curve. You have Adobe's Premiere, Apple's Final Cut, Adobe's Media Composer. Simple editing software is free with operating system. Okay, Windows Live Movie Maker doesn't come in anymore. It used to be there. Now Windows is selling it. Microsoft is selling it now. They're making money off it because Windows Movie Maker, I don't know if you've used it or not. I've used it when I was in high school and in universities. It was one of the most easiest form of sound and video editor that you can find even till date. Very, very easy. So what Microsoft did, okay, they gave it free with their operating system. So as people became used to it, so eventually they start selling it out. Okay, and people buy it because it's very easy. Apple's iMovie, it's free on Apple's platform at the moment. Okay, but the thing is, people don't get access to it unless and until they own a Apple computer system. Remember, video codecs are lossy, avoid re-editing. Okay, don't worry about that. And the summary, a digital video method is used for making and delivering video for multimedia. Okay, digital, why we use digital? Because our technology has gone into it. Now, the difference between analog and digital, firstly, is fast. Secondly, the file size. Thirdly, we have standards which suit the current technology. A charge coupled device, CCD, converts the light that has been reflected from an object through a camera's lens. So this is how we have videos done. Okay, there's a light that CCD, it conveys the light that is reflected from an object through a camera's lens. Codecs are used to compress code, a video for delivery, and decompress a video for playback. Okay, codecs, basically they use computer and mathematical algorithms. There are many sources for digital video, but getting the rights can be difficult, time consuming, and expensive. Most video editing is now being done on computers using non-linear editing, NLE software, such as Avid, Premiere, and Apple's Final Cut. And finally, you have some I test myself questions. Please do feel free to have a look at them and try to answer them. Okay, now the thing with these is I will be testing you out, or I can be testing these out to you in your short test. There's going to be a short test somewhere. Okay, here, short test 2 carries 10% towards the coursework. Now, for example, the video standards and all those stuff, I will not be testing in all those things, but pay keen attention to your I test myself questions. Okay, by the way, your mid-semester exam, thank you for putting in your good effort. Most of you did your exams very, very well. Okay, I don't think there's anyone in the class who has failed the exam. Okay, so if all have passed, so that's good. Okay, there are some who have not attempted it. Okay, I have sent you messages telling you that I have made some form of arrangements, or the university has made some form of arrangements for you people. So please, if you're one of them who are yet to attempt your mid-semester exam, drop me a message. I'll tell you a series of steps what to do next. Okay, so yeah, this is all that I had for today's lecture class. Now our CN535 lectures are not so long. It's pretty simple. Okay, but you'll find the notes very, very confusing. Okay, I will be very honest with you. It is a bit confusing actually, because it talks about those technology that was there about 30, 40 years back, and what technology we have now. Okay, and we do comparison of them. Okay, and also it goes where to technical. Okay, so just try to know the basic stuffs. Just try to know, look at the summary and try to learn through the summary. Okay, and that's all I have for today. Now in tomorrow's class, either we are going to go on sound editing software, or we'll start work on HTML. Okay, so either of it. So till then, I'll see you all tomorrow in the morning at 9 o'clock. Take care, stay safe. One more thing. Now, you must have read over the media that the universities would open up on the 4th of, it'll open up on the 4th of October. Okay. Now, it does open on the 4th of October. However, for our Department of Computer Science and Information Systems, together with School of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, we have decided, what the department has decided with the school and the college CEST, is that we will continue on online mode. Okay, so we will be moving continuously on online mode probably till the end of the semester. Okay, just in case for the final exams, if the university goes ahead and tells the students and the staff that the exams will be conducted on face-to-face mode, then you will be asked to do your exams on a face-to-face mode. But at the moment, things remain as it is. Okay, so you don't need to panic how you'll go to the university, what all things you need. We will continue things online. Okay, so yeah, for CIN535, I do not have any worry about you for final exams, because this is 100% course of unit. Okay, so try your best to get as much marks as possible. If you look at your grade books, if you look at the total, that's the total amount of marks that you have till date. Please ensure your marks are more than 50 to pass. And since this is a very simple and easy unit, try to aim for 80 plus. At least your grade is going to be A minus and above. Okay, everyone, it's good to see when people, a lot of students score A. Okay, and this is the course where I remember in 2018, yeah, in 2018 we had a lot of students. We had a lot of students, and that in that set there were about 20, 25 to 30 students. I remember CN535, there were close to about 20 students who got A plus. Okay, but there were quite a brilliant lot of students. Okay, so try your best. I know the difficulty exists in terms of you learning things online and they learned on a face-to-face mode. And in fact, if the entire course was running on a face-to-face mode, it would have been to another level. Never mind, we are adapting to the difficulties and the challenges ahead, and we're striving through. So try to keep up, try to score good marks, aim for A or A plus. All right, everyone. Okay, take care, stay safe. See you all tomorrow morning. Goodbye.